Record on this computer. Hi, good morning. My name is Sarah MacArthur, and I'm here today with Daniel Garcia, who is going to run for the Democratic Party of New Mexico's secretary position in the upcoming elections for state office. That period of time is from 2025 until I believe it's April 2025 until 2027. And so Daniel has agreed to come online with me and have a discussion. All the questions that I'm asking are the same that I'm asking for every candidate, except for they're particular to the position that he's running for, which is the secretary. So, welcome, Daniel. It's lovely that you came
Thank
online with
you.
me today. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Great, great.
Very well.
So we're just going to jump right in, and I'm going to say we're delighted you decided to come on the podcast. If you can tell us a little bit about your history, both, personally and then with the Democratic Party, and what got you interested in politics, that'd be great.
Okay, yes. I My name is Daniel Alfredo uh Francis Garcia, and I kind of I'm 30 years old. I'm independently, I live on my own, and um it's I, I live through my life through in Albuquerque and New Mexico, and it's really good, and I really love the history. I love my history, and I do genealogy
Hmm.
for 12, for about 12, 13 years now. And I'm kind of glad I learned about my history, about my family's history, and going on from there. And more about history, about how started being part of the Democratic Party. It was it was in elementary school, and
Really?
I was yeah, and I was had they had the teachers had these encyclopedias, so I looked through these encyclopedias, and I was kind of in a way looking at them, and suddenly to realize I came upon to this colored kind of type of pictures uh in encyclopedias, um came upon these colorful pages. And I was like, what the heck are these? And I was like, who are these guys that I see here on the picture? And then they're like, and I said, and I looked at the seal, and I was like, this is a really nice seal. I like this seal. And um and I thought to myself, I looked, and I saw what the names or what their titles are at. And I wonder, and I was like, President of the United States. And I'm like thinking, what are these people? What are these guys? So I kept looking at what they were, who they are, and what their titles are, and
Okay.
looking documentaries. And um, I started to know, like what? I was like, these guys are they basically they were, as I really kind of getting to know who, how they, people voted for them, and they become the free leader of the whole world, the country and the whole world. And you
Hmm.
know and I started to realize that, I started to realize, you know what, I might as well, do something with my life, and look upon what's going on. So I kept looking at, the elections, and more than that, I watched the primaries from
Hmm.
when I was growing up in 2000, between 2004 and 2005. I started to know about what the process of that is. So anyway, I looked through upon that, and then about 2008, 2009, I watched the primaries, and then that was pretty good. And then I watched the Democratic National Convention. So I was like, wow, I was like, that's pretty cool. And they did the ceremonial roll call, and then they called New Mexico, and I was like, wow. So anyway, and then the debates, the debates was pretty good, and then the election, I was like, kind of like, ugh, crossing my fingers, and then suddenly to realize, I looked at the results, and it finally they announced, anyway, finally announced that um the winners of
Hmm.
the part, and it was Barack Obama who won in 2009,
That
in
was pretty
2008.
exciting stuff.
And
Pretty exciting.
it
Yeah.
was, and
Yeah.
anyway, I don't, in a way, to me, I kind of look through upon, and through my younger years in middle school and through high school, I kind of, in a way, started to think about my, going ahead, way far ahead about, choosing Secretary of State, choosing my Secretary of Interior, and all that going and stuff. It's kind of, in a way, I kind of started to thought about my career. So in
Hmm.
my career, I wanted to, firstly, wanted to become governor of New Mexico, and then become the first Native American president of the United States. But,
Okay.
in a way, I kind of started to realize that I've I have a disability, and I kind of lived it through all my life, and in a way, I have developmental delay, developmental disability. I have,
Okay.
in a way, intelligible disability, and in another way, I can't remember things, or solve problems, and in a way, right now, it I have a hard time speaking right, in a way,
I
and I
think you're
have
doing a good job. You're doing
and
fine.
it's just, there's a lot of things going on for me.
Okay.
I'm afraid, I have stage fright. I
Oh,
have a
but it's
hard time
just us. Nobody else is here.
speaking. I'm kind of glad too. So in a way, I in a way, I started to just keep watching what's going on, and it started to get into my, it was like starting to get to me, and I was like, okay, I really want to do this, but I don't know how to, and it's kind of hard. So by 2022, 2020, actually, 2020, actually, no, sorry, going
You don't have
back.
to be that specific. I was just kind of in general, how did you get
2022,
interested in being a Democrat?
yeah,
And
in
so the answer is you
2022,
you want to
in
contribute.
20, yeah, in 2022,
Uh-huh.
I was just on, where I'm at right now. I'm on my couch, and I was just on my phone or either watching TV. And, as a me, I had to tell the truth. So anyway, I was just sitting on my couch doing nothing, and just sitting, and suddenly realized two people came to me, my mind. And my mom is still alive, which I'm kind of
Hmm.
happy about that. My grandma passed away in 2001 at the age of
Sorry.
54. And that was, in a way, sad.
Sure.
Anyway, so in a way, going forward, the one person came to me was my grandmother, and she, in a way, told me, um, I can hear her, in a way, she can speak to me, and it translate, in a way, in Spanish and in English, and then part of it, what she said in Spanish is, mijito, you can't just sit there, on the couch all day and do nothing. You have to do something with your life. You just have to go out and do something. And that's what
You
she
can say
told
it in
me.
Spanish too. I'm sure that we'll
I
have
can't,
people.
yeah,
Oh,
I can't
oh,
say it in
okay. Oh,
Spanish.
I thought you were
I'm
saying,
learning.
but you can understand it. Okay,
I
I
can
get it.
understand
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so, anyway, then my mom, my
Uh-huh.
mom came to my mind, and she like I under, and I was kind of in high school. And I can hear her, and she was saying to me, he says, "Son, you got to do something with your life. You can't just sit on your ass all day." And just
We all have mothers that say that.
yeah, and you just got to go out and do something with your life.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was
And
like
this
to
is the
myself, I
thing
was
that
like,
that has intrigued you the most is being
well,
political and
anyway, a- anyway, I was like, shit, can't believe she's actually said this to me, and I can't believe I'm gonna, in my head, she actually said this to me. So oh, I was like, okay, all right, fine, fine. I guess I will. So I
okay.
did, and I started to go and for my first one, my first volunteer position was being part of the Knights of Columbus. And I'm a Catholic, and I'm a moderate Democrat Catholic, put it that way.
Okay.
And in a way, I started to volunteer for things. I started to, tag along, going, setting up for the parish fiestas and that, with the bingos and with helping people out in the parish community. And that started to get to me anyway.
Hmm.
But in a way, going from there, I started thinking, I need to do something more with my life.
Okay.
So I looked through. I went on to the Democratic Party of New Mexico's page, and I signed up from there, and then I went on to the Bernalillo County, the Democratic Party of Bernalillo County. So I they had a volunteer form. I
Hmm.
put the volunteer thing, and from on there, I got a call from this lady, and I was like, okay, what's her? I was like, what's her name? She says her name was Marisol, and I was like, okay. So anyway, she told me about my board chair and who get in contact with her. So her name is Jennifer Giroux, and she basically she called
Hmm.
me, and in a way, she's a very nice lady. She's a nice person. She's
Hmm.
great and wonderful. And so, um, she, uh, I got to know her, and she basically said, well, do you want to come to the next, with me? You want to come to the next, uh, West Side Dems meeting? And I said, yeah. So it was on the day of it, and she picked me up, and then she
Right.
said, do you want to become a precinct chair? And I said, yeah, I guess, yeah, I'll become a precinct chair. And so she said, so she had to she nominated me, and I became a precinct chair. And then in a way, I got a phone call back from Marisol, and she said, do you want to work with us and with the newsletter, with the as a newsletter technician? I said, yeah, I guess. Just the newsletter is basically called uh, the Blue Review for the
Okay.
Democratic Party of Bernalillo County.
Okay. Hmm.
So anyway, um, I started working on that through through basically through now. Um, and then I started to get these positions. Like Marisol tell me, is telling me, do you want to become the Zoom scheduling coordinator with all the technology stuff that I'm usually doing, and it's kind of I have experience with that. And anyway, and I got um, and on that part, so I had three positions. So I was like, okay, I got to do something more than just Bernalillo County Democratic Party. So anyway, I started to go on, and there's the Democratic Party, the Young Democrats of New Mexico. So I was like, okay, I went to the first meeting. It was pretty good. And then there was this open position for secretary. So I ran for secretary, and anyway, I I ran.
Did you like being the secretary of that organization, of that particular portion
Yeah,
of the Democratic Party?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
and
All
it's
right.
pretty good. And in a way, I got I lost, but then I got a call from Jocelyn, and the Jocelyn Gabaldon from the Young Democrats of New Mexico, the president.
Mm-hmm.
She is, I would say, she's the best, and she's pretty good in what she does. And
Great.
so anyway, um, I kind of she called me and told me that the person that the one was not going to be able to do the position as secretary. So she then told me, "Would you like, would you like to get, would you like to be the secretary? Would you like to be taking the position?" And I
Mm-hmm.
said, "Yeah, yeah, I guess that I would like to."
And how long have
So
you been the secretary for that particular position?
since 2023,
All right.
and
Okay.
I kind of did. I took notes and I took care of the vice presidential position election, and
Hmm.
I had to get the resumes, send the resumes to the executive committee,
Well, you don't
and
have
the
to go into
executive.
that much detail. We've
Yeah,
got other questions to ask
yeah.
in only a limited
And
amount of time.
let
So
me.
I'm going to say that question's been thoroughly answered.
Yeah,
Okay.
and so anyway, I kind of gotten through that in a particular way of
Okay.
of doing, I had experience, and
Yeah, you've been
in
a
a way.
volunteer. People have asked you to step up and you've been willing to do so, and I really appreciate that. So I'm going to go on to the next question. Okay.
Okay.
And I just curious, yes or no, did you get to go to the DNC in Chicago this past August, or did you not go?
uh
Did
I, I did not go.
Okay, so we'll go on to the next
No,
question.
I'm kidding with you. I'm kidding with you. Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
Oh, you did
I
get to go
did.
to Chicago.
Yes, and I was
Oh,
the first. I was the first congressional district delegate, and it was, anyway. The election was kind of like, there was supposed to be 5 women, 5 men, and I was part of the gender balance. Anyway,
okay.
I was
So then
between
I
two.
was going to say, what did you think the highlights of that experience were when you went to Chicago?
The experience of that was like like wow, in a way. It was basically, I never been to a different city before, and a big city in a way,
Yes,
and
it
in
is
a
a large
different.
city.
And Chicago was just like wow. I've in my lifetime I've been to California, Nevada, but in a way I never fly before, and it was my first time.
Wow, that's
So
exciting.
it was,
Yeah.
and it was like wow. So anyway, I went. I went flying, went to Chicago, experienced the 4 days. I and you know the whole thing of it was pretty good. I get to see it. I was like, I got to see a lot of politicians, and so anyway, I started to. I met these two people. They're very nice. I met with them. They're very pretty good people. And so I, anyway, I, s- their names, they're pretty good people. And their names, when I met Michael Segura and Leticia Montoya. And anyway, they're both, they're, 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 anyway, they're, they're pretty good, and they're wonderful. They're very nice people.
Hmm.
They are really. I really got to know them really more about them, and in a way, it was like I finally got to meet. people who understand what I do and what about who I am. So
Okay.
anyway, the experience of the Democratic National Convention, and it was perfect because in a way, I've kind of got to be on TV on the second day, and it was pretty nice because crouched down. I was crouching down, and I looked up
Monitor.
at the jumbotron. So I looked
Uh-huh.
at jumbotron, and I was like, okay, I could see me, but I have to look down, and the camera was right there, and I kept
Okay.
looking at the camera, and anyway, I was just like, wow, I am part of. And after
So can
that,
you tell me about the excitement of being in that audience and having like New Mexico called out and when they called in and said they where they send their electors, was that it's pretty exciting and
it was
hopeful and
it
joyful?
it was exciting. It was pretty good, and in a positive way, I kind of had really a good time over there. It was pretty good.
Good.
Anyway, it was
It
just perfect.
I was
And
going to say it's the third largest city, so now you've been to the third largest city in the United States in terms of
yes,
population.
in terms of
Yeah,
population,
it's a lot of people.
and the other thing was is that I kind of after the whole thing after the roll call,
Uh,
I I anyway after the New Mexico roll call,
uh-huh.
anyway I started crying. I called
Oh,
people. I called my mom. She started
right.
crying. My brother started crying. My grandma started crying. And
Oh,
anyway, they saw me on TV, and
that's exciting.
and it was kind of
Yeah.
nice too. And anyway, I got some merchandise from the hotel from going to there, and it was
Hmm.
pretty good, nice in a way. I had the most incredible time in Chicago, and it was the best. And
Well,
I
we're
got
glad
to
you
meet.
went and represented us. Thank you for doing that.
You're very
That's really
welcome. And
nice.
and then it was kind of nice knowing the governor, and the mayor and all that, because
Uh-huh.
in a way, I met the governor before she became governor. She was
Mhm.
a congresswoman, and anyway, my the governor is my cousin.
Is she?
Yeah,
Oh,
she's um like in a
that's
way
interesting. That's
going
nice.
back. Ooh, she's my like 11th to 12th cousin. And then former mayor of Albuquerque, Marty Chavez, he is my he is also my cousin
Wow.
on the Chavez side. So anyway,
It's kind of exciting.
I have family who are in politics. So that's another thing. Ben Ray Lujan is my cousin too. And so anyway,
So you're well
that's
connected, is what you're saying?
yeah, I'm very well connected anyway.
Okay,
So it's pretty good about that. And
that's
so
great.
anyway, my experience on highlights, it was pretty good. Meeting people was wow. Um, I finally got to meet the actor Sean Astin, and
Oh, right, right. Yeah, okay. So
that
yeah, I
was
heard he was there and he was
yeah,
just full of life and energy. I'm going to
and
move on to the next
yeah.
question. Okay. So you're running to be the secretary of the Democratic Party of New Mexico, and we appreciate you stepping up and declaring for that. What motivated you to take on this particular role here?
Well, what motivated me was I had the how I put it this way, I have experiences
Okay.
with rec recording and preserving the minutes. And the one thing
Mhm.
I know how to take notes, and the other
Good,
thing keeping records with the Young Democrats of New Mexico. And the
good.
other thing is, I, I, what motivated me was my mentors.
Okay.
I
All
have
right.
mentors, and so anyway, um, my mentors are Giroux, Marisol Enriquez, and my other mentor is Leticia Montoya and Michael Segura. So anyway, they motivated me. They kind of helped me out with things that I had, I could do. And anyway, in a way, they helped me out. They helped me out to keep going
Okay,
forward. And
good.
they tell me the one two people who told me, you know, it doesn't matter of what your disability is. You can do it. You have the experience. You can show what you got. And those
Okay.
two people are Letitia Montoya and Michael Segura. They actually told me no matter your disability is, you you have the experience. You know what you're doing. You know what you do in the Young Democrats in New Mexico, and you have the experiences. Because
It's
in a
always
way,
good to have people that are pushing you forward and helping you along your way and in the
yeah,
career and stuff and
and
career
in a
choices.
way, I didn't expect to somebody asking me to run for secretary. So I was actually I got a call anyway. I called Letitia or Michael, and
Mhm.
anyway, I asked. They asked. They told me about the candidate, Cam Crawford,
Mhm.
and anyway, they asked me. They asked me, "Do you want to run
Mhm.
for secretary?" And they said a lot of things, make good compliments um, about me, and you know a lot of people. You've done experience. You have good experiences with being secretary of the Young Democrats in New Mexico. You know what you're doing. So, and then I was like thinking to myself, like, think. You have,
Sure.
got to make a
I tell
decision.
myself that all the time. Think.
And anyway, I started to know. Anyway, I kind of thought, you know what, might as well. I said, you know what? I said yes. I will run for the
Okay.
secretary of the Democratic Party of New Mexico. Sorry.
Great.
So I took the position. I was like, I took the run as a position, and in a way, um, the motivation kind of helped me with mentors and a lot of things, and in a way, it kept me going with
Good. Good.
kept me
I'm
going,
going
kept
to
me
cut
going.
you off because I
Yeah.
mean, we have other questions to get
Yeah,
to.
we
So I'm
have
going
other
to keep
questions.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Because you're
Yeah.
repeating yourself. So I'm going to cut you off when you do that. Okay. Is that
All
fair?
right.
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry
I
about
did
that.
want to know as a follow-up on that question can you tell me what the Democratic Party of New Mexico's actual mandate is as an organization?
What? Okay.
Like
So
what's the point of what is the purpose of our Democratic Party and the organization? What is the job that we're supposed to do?
okay. As I learned, what DPNM is mandate is to reunite, to get people to come together,
Okay.
and in a way, it's basically get the job done, and
And
making
what is our job?
to
Getting people elected?
getting people to elect, yeah, getting people elected and getting
Okay.
people out to vote, and and,
Okay.
and in a way,
Perfect.
it's basically what we need to do.
That's it. That's it in a nutshell.
And
So we're going to
oh,
go on.
yeah.
Um, can you tell me what kind of responsibilities you're going to have as the secretary of this political organization if you get elected?
Well, as I understand the responsibilities as secretary, in a way, I will, keep records and preserve from all the minutes from the state central committee,
Hmm.
and keeping records of the state convention and the executive committee meetings, and
Hmm.
perform other duties that may require by other bodies in a way. And
Okay.
I kind of know those two things. The other two things I kind of have to train on that is
Okay.
promptly file amendments to DPNM rules with the Secretary of State, which is that's required by law to do that.
Okay.
And I think it is, as I know. It's yeah.
I think you probably have some help in from party affairs that will help you do those things too. So, or
And
they, can show you,
yeah.
um, those types of things. Um, have you had a conversation with the current secretary about what he does or his job or how he's been handling the job?
Um, no, I haven't contacted the current secretary. I know I kind of know him from
Oh, okay.
from the Democratic convention, the Democratic National
Okay.
Convention. But
Hmm.
anyway, I kind of haven't contacted him about it because I kind of know uh, the whole part of being secretary as I
Okay.
am as part of being
Uh-huh.
Young Democrats of New
Well,
Mexico
I just
secretary.
was wondering, I've asked everybody
Yeah,
this question, whether they've talked to the person whose role they're going to take on to just see whether or not have had a conversation where you might learn some things that he's doing that, maybe aren't written in the job description, but they're
yeah.
implied or that kind of stuff.
I,
I'm sure
but I'm
I'm sure
willing.
you'll talk to him before
Yeah, I'm
the
willing.
election.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'd be willing to talk to him and see what he does and
I
see
think you
there's
probably have to do the reaching out
what I
though.
yeah, I have to do that. Yeah. And I have to talk to him to see what's different about the position and what's there that's kind of hard or easy for as a secretary. So that's what I'm gonna do.
All right, perfect. Perfect, perfect. Thank you so much. What do you think that the DPNM's biggest concern is right now, where we're standing like on a national level, on a state level? So what is it that DPNM's biggest concern should be right now?
Voters.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay,
there is a lot of independence in New
there
Mexico.
are.
Um, basically, we're turning purple, which is
That's
scary.
very astute of you. Yes, we are.
And
And that was
and
troubling
the
how many people went for Trump.
yeah, and one thing is, um, we need to have somebody who can lead the party in a different way, and in a way, um, we we're you know we need to keep New Mexico blue in a way.
Ideally,
Um,
yeah, that'd be
ideally,
great.
yeah. And in a way, I kind of have looked into what our state looks like, and
Mhm.
in a way, I was kind of um, shocked about what I hear. And anyway, I was at a meeting for the McKinley County Democratic Party, and I heard that McKinley County um, potentially turned red, and I was like,
Now,
"Wow."
McKinley, is that Gallup? Are we talking about Gallup?
Uh, yeah, Gallup, and
Okay.
because that's where my grandma, my mom's
Mhm.
from, and
Uh-huh.
anyway, I heard that they almost turned red, and I was like, what? I was like, wow, and in a way, Santa Fe is almost turning red, so in a way, basically, the state is basically purple, so by
We have to
2020.
be that scared yet. I think for sure Rio Rancho is a red community, and where I live in this part of the state, the southeastern part is definitely 73% red mostly.
Yeah,
But I would say Santa Fe's got a little ways to go before that happens. So how do we address that? What kind of things do you think that we should do to address the possibility that people are wanting to vote red? And did they vote red because of Donald Trump, or did they vote red for Donald Trump, but they voted blue when it came to our state and national congressional delegates? Did they blow? Do you know whether they voted differently?
well, the way the way it's is that how they voted differently is because of how the Democratic Party is turning into. And
Mm-hmm.
it's scary how the party is, and there was no there was no format, or there was no um, agenda ahead of agenda of how of what they're going to do differently than their predecessors, or in a way, uh, it, it,
I don't know what you mean by that because I think they've had an agenda to get people elected. And they very purposely raised money and helped candidates, and
based,
we did
but
pretty well.
yeah,
I mean,
and
we're
in a
in
way,
control of both houses in the state legislature,
in
and
the
all of
state,
our
yeah.
congressional delegates are blue. So I'm not sure that you can say that the current people that are in place didn't do a good job here, in the state level. But in terms of Donald Trump, yeah, that was pretty upsetting how many people
Yeah,
voted for him.
and that in a way I was talking about nationally. In the state, we're
Oh,
doing good. In the state here,
okay.
we're doing good, but nationally, it basically didn't. It didn't go well in a way, and in
Well,
a
no,
way,
it definitely didn't go the way we
yeah,
wanted.
and in a
And we'll be
way,
paying for that starting tomorrow. So,
yeah, and
yeah,
in a
that's
way,
not
it
a
just
good thing.
basically it, people needed to know. People wanted to know the difference. They want to know what they're going to do differently in the country. In New
Okay.
Mexico, we kind of now we have the election for 2025 for mayoral race in Albuquerque, and
Okay.
we got the gubernatorial race in 2026.
The
So
what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
the
What race is
the
that?
gubernatorial race
Oh, sorry. Okay, I didn't hear that word. Okay. Yes, you're absolutely
in
right. We do. We have that
in
race too.
2026, and
Uh-huh.
we need to let the voters know that there has got to be a person like Deb Holland,
Hmm.
possibly, to make a difference in New Mexico, to make changes
Is
in New
is Deb
Mexico.
Haaland going to run for governor?
We don't know. We don't know. It's a
Oh,
possibility she will, but I'm not saying it
that would be
in a way
exciting,
of
wouldn't it?
what she's planning to do, or what she
I know our
basically,
governor that's currently there can't run again because we have term limits.
yeah, two
So,
terms. So
I guess the field is wide open.
in a way, it's just basically, I kind of, what we need to tell voters is that there's got to be a difference in the nation and in the state.
Okay.
And what we're dealing with now is prices gone high, inflation, groceries went up, medical bills went up,
Let me
and
ask you a question. Why did prices at the grocery stores go up? Do you know?
well, the reason, um, because uh, there is not enough it,
Competition?
competition, or food anyway, that people will get anyway. Uh, uh, uh,
It's
when I went to the store,
I'm gonna help you out here because it's my understanding. I asked you the question and I'm gonna answer it for you.
yeah,
The grocery prices went up because corporations raised the price. And corporations are making record-breaking profits right now. And even Donald Trump, though he promised to lower the price of eggs and lower the price of groceries at the grocery stores, since he became the president-elect, has now gone on record and saying, yeah, I really can't do anything about that. So
and that's
people voted for
yeah,
this man thinking that he was going to control the price of gas or control this and that and the other thing. And right now, our country is pushing out more oil and gas than we've ever pushed out before. We've never drilled this much, and we've had to do that for a variety of reasons. And we are the envy. Joe Biden created an economy that is the envy of the world. So when I say why are grocery stores doing that, it's because there's only six huge grocery stores that own all of the subsidiary groceries and products and everything like that. so they
Yeah.
can set the price. And so they
Yeah.
have no incentive to lower the price because you're paying for it. And government, Congress and other things, they aren't making them lower the price and stop gouging us. And that's what
Yeah.
they've done. And
That's true.
you've heard of the word shrinkflation.
Yeah.
So
Shrinkflation. Yeah, I've heard of that about that. Yeah.
the products that we buy and pay the same price, if not a little bit more,
Uh-huh.
for the products are actually emptier in the bag. When you open a cereal box, it's only, two-thirds full or even less. The
Hmm.
box itself is smaller. So the soda can that you buy isn't 12 ounces anymore. It's 11 or 10 ounces. I mean, they're just shrinkflation and they're charging you the same price.
Yeah.
So it's actually Joe Biden's economy was fabulous. It was a really good economy. It's still a good economy at this moment, and it's about to get devastated with tariffs and things of that nature and bullying our allies and neighbors. I'm going to move on
Yeah.
though and give you a chance to answer another good kind of question,
Okay.
which is what makes you the right choice for the position of secretary? So tell us, sell yourself on that.
Okay. What's make the right choice? Um, what makes me
Well,
for the
what
right
makes
choice?
you the right choice? Like you're telling the voters,
Oh,
I'm a
yeah.
good candidate for this position. I'd like your vote. So
A
why
vision,
should they vote for you?
a vision for a stronger, more inclusive party.
Okay.
Um, for New Mexico anyway faces significant challenges in rising costs of food and housing and healthcare, putting
Hmm.
immense pressure on working families. At the same time, we must keep New Mexico blue in the face of growing threats to our democracy. As secretary, I will focus on three priorities. So my three priorities, one is strengthening party infrastructure, which is I will ensure every county, whether solid, blue, or red leaning or orphaned, has the tools to engage voters and drive results. Number two, amplifying local voices. I will serve as a bridge between the state party and grassroots efforts, ensuring members' ideas and concerns are heard and act upon.
Great.
Number three, fighting for working families, from affordable health care and to addressing the rising costs of living. I will work to reflect the needs of the lower and middle classes, the backbone of our state.
They are. They are. Those are really great goals. That's really good. Thank you
And
for sharing that. Oh,
you're
you have
very
a
welcome.
fourth? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Do you have another one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, I will commit a commitment to every county. I
Okay.
will, in a way, our state's diversity is strengthening, and I commit to represent every community from urban centers to rural towns. No county is too red, blue, large, or small to receive attention and investment. As secretary, I will bring a relentless focus on collaboration, ensuring every county has a seat at the table. This is a pivotal moment for our party. We've expanded access to education, defending reproductive rights, raised the minimum wage, and more. But we cannot take the successes for granted. We must redouble our efforts to protect and expand these gains, ensuring every voter knows the Democratic Party is fighting for them.
That's great. Yeah, and we do need to get that message out. We need to be better at getting that message out, which is why today is so important and doing
It
things
is.
of this nature and telling them how you feel and how strongly you feel about those
And
things.
in a way, for me as a leader who can act and
Hmm.
deliver, as me for secretary, is that I will be more far as a record keeper. I will empower every Democrat by fostering collaboration and ensure all voices are not just heard but act upon. Uh, by my mission is to drive real results that strengthen our party and improve the lives of New Mexicans. Together, we can build a Democratic Party that leads with bold ideas and unwavering actions. So
Well, you got that down. That's
I
great.
did. And
I
anyway,
have a
that's
very funny question to ask you. Red or green?
red,
Do you like red or green chili?
red.
Okay, I'm just taking a personal poll there.
Oh, that's okay. It's fine. I
Yeah.
love my New Mexico chili. Basically, my mom makes it. My, family
Oh,
makes it. And, red is my best
it's
flavor.
very good. It's very
It
good.
is.
There's a place up in Taos that I like to go to. I don't know if it's still there. I haven't been to Taos in a long time, but it's Orlando's. Do you know where that is?
Oh, yes.
They
Oh
have a
man,
really
that place
good
is
red chili and blue
good.
tortilla
Yeah.
enchilada. It's really, really good.
One
Yeah.
place here in Albuquerque is called Padilla's.
Oh, okay. All right.
Padilla's New Mexico restaurant. The best chili. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Well, I'm
The
gonna make
the
my son take me there the next time I come up to visit. Yeah.
and it's pretty good. So
So we have two questions left. One
okay.
is number 8. It says, nationally, what do you see as the biggest obstacle for us and us as in New Mexico Democrats maintaining or getting past the American First MAGA agenda?
Well, there's a lot of that anyway. One is the
Yeah.
um one is I have kind of seen about the whole thing about the massive deportation
Yeah. So
and that
upsetting.
and
Yeah.
he said when he starts he's going to start from Chicago to New York.
Yeah,
And
I heard that. I just heard that the other day, so you knew more about it than I did.
I
So,
was like
yeah.
I can't
On
believe
day
it.
one, that's tomorrow.
And yeah, tomorrow. And anyway, in a way he basically kind of in a way who people are not who are here illegally, who got their citizenship and who got their green cards and all that, they're okay to be here. If they got those proper documentation, they are basically they're here. But the people who do not have those type of records or documents, I'm sorry to say this, but they should go back to their
If
country.
that's what you want to say, that's fine. You can
And
say however
any
you
and
feel.
in a way, I'm sorry to say that, but the people who are here who have their documentation, who have their proper citizenship records and documentation, they are more welcome to be here. They
So is
either
our government and the MAGA agenda, did they put a limit on how many people they would let in here on different visas and work programs and that kind of stuff so that it's more difficult for people to come into our country?
uh, in
So,
a way, in a way, we don't know yet because we don't know what is the limit for people to come in here and people and how many.
well, I think we do know. I think we've been fighting about it for like 20 to 30 years and it's just to me the scenario problem is Democrats don't want Republicans to take credit or get credit for fixing the immigration system. And then Republicans, who are now going to step into office, don't want to work with Democrats to get credit.
Yeah.
They don't want any Democrats to get credit
Uh-huh.
for fixing the problem. So essentially, it's a gridlock, and nobody's fixing the problem. And the
Yeah,
truth
that's
is that this country needs its immigrant
uh-huh.
workers to pick the cotton and pick the strawberries in California and the avocados. And then if they don't have enough workers, and Americans won't do that job. I
Yeah.
mean, farmers will tell you that they can put out a call and hire immigrants, illegal immigrants, and Americans walk off the job if they even show up. So
Yeah.
it is immigrants that are doing that work, getting underpaid and paying into Social Security because they've had a false Social Security number created in order to be able to work. And then
Yeah.
they don't even get to draw that Social Security. So I'm pretty sympathetic myself towards people that come over here and do all of the difficult, hard work
Yeah.
in our country. And I think we ought to have a pathway for them to become citizens or get their
Yeah.
LPR card or anything like that. I do
And
think New Mexico is a little kinder to
Yeah.
people that cross the border and enter our country, whether with or without paperwork. And I think that we offer some sort of assistance for that. Now, I I do think that Donald Trump is going to punish states like ours for helping them, and so
Yeah.
that
And the
seems to
other
be a
thing,
problem. Yeah, go ahead.
the other problem on that biggest obstacle is the programs, the government
Okay,
programs.
all right.
The one is basically um, SNAP,
Hmm.
and which he says, which I don't know if I believe him or not, is Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. And I'm sorry, but I'm on Social Security. I'm on supplemental security income.
SSI. Okay, yeah.
And anyway, I get money every month, and I pay my bills and all that stuff. And then I do get Medicaid, and it's good for me. But in a way, why are you going to cut that programs if people who are on those programs live a good, better life, not in the cold or being
Hmm.
homeless? They're out. They're living independently, and they got their own place, and they got their own food, and they basically have they go and to the doctor and see what's
Hmm.
wrong with them, and have get, these things. And you're
Hmm.
gonna have this administration have this DOGE for what?
Oh,
Cutting,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's not
cutting these
really a government
programs.
agency because in order to create a government agency, it has to be authorized by Congress and funded. So the Doji, which is also a problematic name because the name Doji is the same name as Elon Musk's cryptocurrency. And so every time somebody says it, it's like getting a little jolt of doji. Oh, if you go to look to go buy cryptocurrency, which is just nothing but air, do not buy it. Then he's getting the benefit of calling it DOG. And using the word department is incorrect. It's not technically a department. It's not in anything. It's just two civilians that he's tasked with reviewing all the government stuff and helping helping Congress decide what to get rid of. The real problem is they want to get rid of those things, those programs which you rely on, and it would be devastating for them to take those things away. They might start grandfathering people in and limiting the number of new applicants or approvals to get more of those things.
Yeah.
So the problem, as I see it, like, I'm going to talk about, just imagine there's this huge corporation. It's
Hmm.
one of the richest corporations in the world, and the family is one of the 10 richest families in the world. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars with, like, 70 billion. And I mean, it's almost an unimaginable number. And that company doesn't pay for their employees to have insurance. So instead, those people, because they don't pay them a 40-hour work week, those people end up having to apply for Medicaid. And what is that? That's taxpayer money. And that corporation is getting, not only do they get subsidies and not only do they get tax breaks for being this huge corporation, they get a third break by not providing insurance
Hmm.
to their employees, by not paying them a livable wage, which then forces them to go get Medicaid or ACA coverage. And so they're getting a third benefit on the backs of taxpayers. So I don't want to get in trouble on my little, spiel and say what company it is, but everybody goes there all the time because, they have super centers. So you can just imagine what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And that is why, you know, if you watched any of the hearings this last week, they talked about the guy that's going to run the Treasury Department said no, he wanted to cut all these programs, like you said. The big concern is cutting these programs, and you're absolutely right. And then he said, our number one main focus is to extend the tax cuts that Trump put in place in 2017 so the rich can get even richer. while people are out on the streets. So
Hmm.
yeah, we have a lot of work to do. We have much, much work to do in order to combat
Yeah.
this misinformation, disinformation, all that. Anyway, you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head with that one. Um, I'm going to ask you the last question that I had to chat with you about
Hmm.
was this is your opportunity to let the people that are voting for you know about your commitment and your knowledge and your focus going forward if you should be elected as the secretary. So go
Okay.
for it.
All right. Well, my dear SEC members, I wanted to tell you my commitment as for being secretary and my knowledge. I wanted to let you know is that in a way, I will work hard for you to get things done and get things um, going. It won't happen overnight, but I will work hard to get it done. And my focus going on forward, I will basically keep those promises in a way you guys will have me as your secretary to keep going and basically working hard, work in a way, working hard and being your secretary, working with secretaries, county secretaries, and getting those amendments, rules together and being a more efficient secretary. And that
Nice.
uh, is basically my.
That's what you want to do going forward if you get the job. All right. I'm thrilled to death to have had you and to have met you. It's really nice to meet you. So, what I'm going to do
Nice
is
to
I'm
meet
going to go ahead and tell everybody thank you very much, stop the recording, and then you and I can have a brief visit as to how you can promote this video.
you.
So,
Okay.
everyone, thank you for stopping by. It's Mr. Daniel A. Garcia. I'm not sure of all the names because I can't see them behind you, but
Yeah.
it was really a
Here,
joy
you
to
wanna?
meet you. Here, okay. Oh, Daniel Alfredo Francis Garcia running for DPNM secretary. Okay, thank you, Daniel.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm glad to meet you. Thank you.
Glad to meet you too.
Bye, everyone.